Today, we are going to learn a new chapter called depreciation. I will teach this chapter by giving a simple example, something which we cannot live without. It's not oxygen, it's not water, it's not money, it is the mobile, isn't it? Without mobile, we can't live today. So I purchased this mobile at a cost of 5,000 for my grandfather. But after 1 year, he didn't like this mobile because this is not a smartphone. So I had to sell it for 4,000. Now the first question is, did I make a loss? My grandpa told me, yes, Anish, you made a loss of 1,000. Obviously, something which I purchased for 5,000, I sold for 4,000, right? So I made a loss of 1,000. I thought, let's take a second opinion from an accountant. And he told me, Anish, did you calculate depreciation? Depreciation is reduction in the value of asset due to the usage. So 1 year when you use the mobile, there is definitely some kind of depreciation. That's why you have to do a proper calculation to know whether you made a profit and loss. Now he did this calculation and showed me the original price was 5,000. The depreciation for 1 year, he charged 2,000. So after 1 year, the mobile value has become 3,000. Now, when I'm selling something of 3,000 for 4, as per accounts, there is a profit. All right. So if you don't know the concept of depreciation, how will you make out whether you made a profit or a loss in a business? So let's understand this chapter in detail now. The first question is, why is depreciation so important? And the reason is to understand the right profit and loss, not only to understand profit and loss, but right profit and loss. And what is the definition of depreciation? It's a gradual reduction of value of tangible asset. The word tangible is so important because tangible defines something which you can touch. And also it is your fixed asset like furniture, machinery, premises, all those things are your fixed tangible asset, and depreciation is only applicable on that. And why does depreciation come into picture? Due to passage of time. Once you buy a thing, let's say you bought a new machinery for 1 lakh rupees. After 5 years, can you sell it for 1 lakh? No, because due to passage of time, it has become old. Also, because of the usage, at times you use it extensively, and what happens after 5 years, that thing become useless completely. You scrap it. All right. And also wear and tear. Careless use of things results into wear and tear. It might break. And when you sell it, you don't get the right price for it. So these are the reasons for depreciation. But now, if there is a reduction in intangible asset is something which you cannot touch. For example, goodwill, patents. In such case, it is called amortization. This term is very important, not only for 11th, but also in 12th grade. And if you're talking about mines, coal mines, all those kind of mines, what happens if the mines are reducing? You don't use any of this term, but the term used is depletion. This is very important for you from theory point of view. Let's look into the other part now. Depreciation is ideally an assumption. There is no cash going out of the business. Because of this particular reason, we say that accounts is unrealistic or not 100% accurate. Now, the mobile case, I might say the mobile has to be depreciated every year 20%. But my friend might say that it is 50%. So it's an assumption by that particular person who is having the company or who is the entrepreneur for that particular business. Now, talking about the depreciation, there are two methods which you are going to learn this year. First method is called straight line, or we call it as fixed installment. Second method is called written down method or reducing balance. In the first chapter, you might have come across the term principle of consistency. What does that mean? You should be consistent in your practice of accounts. So we also learned that time the example was type of depreciation or method of depreciation. So if a company is using straight line method, throughout his business lifespan, he has to use the same method. That is what we call principle of consistency. Now talking about straight line and written down method, what is the difference? Let's assume that depreciation we have fixed as 20% for the mobile. So in straight line method, you always charge 20% on that 5,000 figure. That is why if you see, I'm getting the straight depreciation 1,000 every year. So on 5,000, I charge 1,000, I got 4,000. On 4,000, again, I'm not charging depreciation on 4, but I'm charging on 5,000. That's why we get these figures. But in written down method, whatever figure you write it down, on that you charge depreciation. So 4,000, you charge a depreciation of 800 because 20% of 4,000 is 800. So this is the difference between both the methods. Every company has got their own way of selecting it. It could be based on certain benefits. It could be based on the industry. It could be based on the product. You don't have to understand why somebody is taking which method. You have to just do the calculation this year. The profit will differ based on the method used. Example, if I'm selling the machinery or this mobile for, let's say, 3,000, in straight line method, I made a profit of 1,000, but in written down method, my profit would be less because the final value, the book value, what we call of the machinery is different. Something out of the book knowledge I would like to give you here. Imagine if you are charging a higher depreciation, what happens? Obviously, depreciation is a loss. If you charge higher depreciation, whatever profit you have made in that year would be reduced. So where will be the impact? It would be on the tax. The spelling is TAX. I have done a typo mistake here. So the profit would be reduced and you will be giving less of tax. But let's say if you're charging lower depreciation, profit will be higher, isn't it? And this will attract investor. What I'm saying you is that in many business, they do this kind of small fraud to get away from the tax and also to attract the investor, because depreciation is your concept, it's your assumption. You don't have to depend on anybody else to tell you what is the depreciation has to be charged. I hope the theory part is very much clear. Now we will move on to the next slide to understand how is the accounting done. Let us look into one simple example which will help you to understand the ledger part. You know, we have to create a machinery ledger, and machinery being an asset carries a debit balance. This is a simple knowledge which we should always have. So whenever you want to reduce the machinery, what you do, you credit it. Okay, so now this sum states that you have purchased a machinery on 1st April 18 for 30,000, and then you again purchased a machinery on 1st October 18 for 10,000. On 1st October 19, machinery was sold for 22 and depreciation charged is 10%. Now, how do you put it across? I hope you understand that ledgers are made for every year. All right, so that is why we start off with the first year, that is 1/4/18. So we should be sure that our accounting year gets over on 31st March 19. We should know these dates properly. In depreciation, dates are way too important because most of the students do mistakes because of the dates. So what I did, I have written in the debit side to bank. That's what the journal entry is, right? If you're purchasing machinery, machinery account debit to bank. So machinery to bank. I have written 30,000. Then that is on 1/4/18. Again that year, I purchased one more machinery on October 18. Okay. Now what I do end of the year, end of the year is 31st March. What am I supposed to do as an accountant? Every year I have to charge whatever is due, whatever is accrued, all those things. So one of the thing which is due every year is your depreciation. So they are saying that 10% is the depreciation. So I will check when did I purchase 1/4 till 31/3, exactly 1 year. So 10% of 30,000 would be 3,000. But when I look into this machinery, very important, I purchased on 110. So from here till year end, it is only for 6 months. So you cannot charge depreciation for 1 year. You have to charge only for 6 months. The calculation becomes way too simple. On 10,000, 10% is what? 1,000. That is for 1 year. So if it is 6 months, exactly half, that is 500. Once that is done, you have to close your ledger, what we call it as tally. So when you're tallying the ledger, you will see 30 plus 10 is 40. I'll write 40 both the side, and whatever is the difference, I have to write it over here, 36,500. Now, whenever you're doing this particular sum, I always advise students to break up this difference of 36,500. It's very simple to do that. 30,000 minus 3, that is 27,000. 10,000 minus 500, that is 9,500. So when you add up, you get this figure 36,500. Once that is done, what happens? You will carry it down to the next year. Next year in the debit side, you will write the figure. Machinery 27 and machinery 2 9,500. Now let us understand what happened this year. This year you sold the machinery. That means you are getting money of 22,000. That's the first thing you have to write. On 1/10/19, immediately write buy bank 22. You're selling machinery. That means machinery is going out. That is the reason I credited it. Now, the second aspect is you have to understand which date I sold. I sold it not on 1/4/19, start of the year. I sold it in between of the year. I have to check from here till here how many months are there. So how many months are here? 6 months, right? So you have to charge 6 months of depreciation. On which figure? You're using straight line method. Look, we are to, it's mentioned, you're using straight line method. So the depreciation will be charged on 30,000 for 6 months. So for 1 year, you know it's 3,000. For 6 months, obviously it is 1,500. The next aspect is very important. Be very careful and understand how do you find whether there is a profit or a loss. Now, what is the book value? With the book value, you should compare your selling price. The book value is not 27 here. 27,000 minus 1,500 if you do, you will get your book value. So 27 minus 1,500 if I do, what is the figure I will be getting? 25,000, 25,500, right? And 25,500 if I compare with the selling price of 22,000, I understand that I made a loss of 3,500. The loss should be written in the credit side. That completes the selling part, the most confusing part of this chapter. But isn't it way too simple? If we understand, selling price you should be writing, depreciation you should be charging, and then finding out the book value. The book value is not 3,000 minus 1,500. You go, if you want to do in other way around, you can say 30,000 minus 3000 minus 1500. You can say that also. You will get the same figure, or 27,000 minus 1500. Isn't this easy? So this is how you do. Every step I have written very clearly for the first year and the second year. I hope the concept is clear. Now this does not complete your sum because there is a year end, and every year you have to charge depreciation. There is a machinery left, isn't it? So again, what is the charge on the depreciation? The what is the value, cost of the depreciation? Sorry, of the machinery. It's 10,000. 10,000's 10 percentage is what? 1,000. And then you get the balance. 9,500 minus 1,000 also you can do it, because this 27,000 has been sold now completely. So this is how your first method is. Second method is also very simple. Now let's look into the second method. In second method, what is the difference in the second year when we talk about reducing balance and when we talk about straight line method? I have taken the same figures as it is. Now, when we talk about reducing balance, you always charge depreciation on the reduced balance, that is on 27,000. All right, so your depreciation would become 27,000 into 10 percentage for 6 months. It became 1350. Instead of 1500, it became 1350. That's the only change. Otherwise, the entire sum would be identical. Same thing for the last year. If you notice, we have charged 1000 as the depreciation based on the cost. But over here, we have to charge 950 based on the written down value. That's the small difference between both the methods. Otherwise, both are very much identical. So this completes one of the sum. All right, I hope it is very much clear. I would advise you all to look into this test paper, attempt it and share it with me. I will definitely correct and get back to you with my suggestions, also with the solutions if you, somewhere you're gone wrong. With this video, I end the chapter called depreciation, a very important chapter because it will be used even in next year when you're learning a particular chapter called cash flow statement in 12th. So don't ignore this chapter. Don't keep it as an option, because you might keep it as an option this year, but next year you have to again make use of it. Thank you.